So I'm getting ready to plant out some more things for this year coming up. This is the 2025 growing year. I've had some plants that have given me issues over in the past, so I want to try a few different ideas. And I have a plan. I'm going to work on my plan today, and I wanted to catalog what I was doing to see if it worked for next year. So the first place that I started was with the dahlias. Last year I grew some dahlias and I dug up their tubers and I wanted to save them for this year, but they got shriveled and I didn't really have a good place to store them. I was concerned that they were going to die. So I planted them in these shallow dishes and I want to see if they'll sprout, see if there's any life left in them. But also, evidently, from what I hear, you can take the new growth. So like here you could see some new growth and here there's just a little few sprouts coming out. And you can take that new growth and then plant it out and you'll get new tubers for next year. So I have a few of them that are in that stage. From last year, I've also had a hard time with ranunculus. It's just my timing, I think. I believe that they're a cold, like they like cooler weather, even though they're a flowering plant. And so they have these things here. I think they're called crowns, not crowns, but crowns. So I put them in these shallow dishes, and I did all of this back in the beginning of January. And the other tuber thing I have over here, I'm not going to do anything with it because they still look pretty good. But these are elephant ear tubers, crowns. I don't know. But here's an example of one of them. It's still firm on the inside, so I'm not concerned about these. So they take up a lot of space when they get bigger, and I'm gonna wait a little bit longer because I don't really have that much space for seed starting things. A few other things that I started were some red onions, American flag leeks over here, and you can see that they're just starting to come up. I planted them probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And also over here I have some lemongrass. These are the teeniest, tiniest sprouts in the whole wide world. And there's like maybe 4 or 5 of them. I live in zone 5B or 6A, and so I don't have a super long growing season. So there's certain things that just seem like they never really come to maturity in time. Lemongrass is one of them. I have gotten some, but I want to try a different way. So I'm starting them very early. And over here, I have Brussels sprouts. So my issue with Brussels sprouts is they've just never got to the point where they've developed like a Brussels sprout. The first few years I had a hard time with cabbage loopers, and last year I planted them, but I think maybe I put them in too late. I don't know. I'm honestly very confused. So I'm going to do some, I already did some in January. I'm going to do some in February. And that way, if I mess up with them, I have like the next group. And I planted them in these like large shallow dishes because I can kind of just tease them apart and upplant them as needed. Okay, so I'm going to fill up a shallow dish for the Brussels sprouts. Again, I already did one tray, but I'm gonna do, the ones I did was the Long Island Brussels sprouts. And somebody gave me, they're called rhubarb Brussels sprouts. I think they're red or something. I don't know. But I'm going to try these out. And I think I'll do maybe like 5 or 6 a tray. I'm just going to sprinkle them out. I bought these shallow dishes. I think they're for like sprouts on purpose, just to try this method out. I also like that these are separate, so like dahlias and Brussels sprouts have totally different needs, and so I can kind of like just shift them around. So that was why I thought of this process too. I have these saved from last year, and the ink that was on there really lasted. I was very surprised. So I'm gonna try another thing of lemongrass, just because I don't know really what to expect. I'm also gonna be selling probably some lemongrass this year, so I want to have hopefully enough to sell. And again, I'm just gonna do a handful of them, maybe like between 8 and 10 seeds. And these just want a little bit of soil sprinkled on top, not a ton. And I'm going to mark on here February's lemongrass. See, again, look how well that ink lasted throughout the summer. I try to save them so I could reuse them, and they didn't get really weird or brittle, and the ink lasted, so I'm really happy with these tags. All right, rosemary. I tried rosemary last year with no success, so I'm gonna try it again. I actually planted it in the beginning of January, and I saw one sprout. Obviously, I was very happy, but I dropped the tray and I killed the plant. So we're gonna try again. Oh, it says start indoors 5 or 6 months ahead of time. Okay. And again, I'm gonna do maybe 10. And I believe this is the one that you have to keep moist. It says germination will be very slow and naturally spotty. Okay. Okay, it just says press them into the soil. So we're not gonna cover them. My mom lives in the northwest of the United States, and they have rosemary that's perennial there, or just, survives over the winter. It's so cool. All right, next one I'm gonna do is, let's see, I already planted these two. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna try these again in March. So I'll put these to the side. So let me change my plan. Allium, I'm just gonna do a March. Oh, garlic chives. I think I planted these last year and they bloomed because they have like that nice, like an allium bloom. I think it was like midsummer, end of summer. It was lovely. I'm actually gonna plant some more of these. I did use them some for cooking, but I mostly just like them for the flowers, and I think they're perennial. I actually don't know. I should look that up. I should look it up on here. Yeah, perennial. Zones 3 to 9. So that's us. I'm going to put a decent amount, like maybe 20 seeds or so. One of the good things about alliums is you can plant them fairly densely and then tease them apart as they start to grow and then get them into their own spots. So it'll save you space when it will save you space. I'm going to try these two. These Brussels sprouts, they're the mighty hybrid Brussels sprouts. They were also given to me by a friend who used to garden and no longer has space for it. And a lot of the seeds were pretty old, which is fine because many times they sprout, but these are 6 years old and I don't know what they'll do, so I might as well try them out. That way I can know. Yeah, I should probably plant them more densely just in case they don't sprout. All right, I did like 15 there. Okay, I have peppers. All right, so peppers, these are the 3 I'm gonna start sooner. I'm gonna start them now. I usually only get like a month of production with peppers because it's cold here, and by the time they get mature and start producing fruits, they're ready to die. So I've been thinking of some different ways to deal with that. One of the things that I did this past year is I overwintered some peppers. Actually, let me show you. So some of them did so well. It's so big that I can't even fit it in frame. This one was the red bell. It did great. This one was a shishito and it died. So I have about 50-50. For the peppers that I overwintered, about half of them made it. So that's not bad. These ones are Sweet Dream Lemon Dream. Sweet Dream? No, Sweet Peppers Lemon Dream. I've never had them before, but they seem fun. So I'm going to plant these this month and then the following month as well. So I'm only going to do a few just to see how these guys do. All right, maybe I'll do 5. I have some of my favorite peppers, like the shishito is one of my favorites that I definitely want to grow every year. Jalapeno, which is nice. I have another type of jalapeno over here. It's called an early jalapeno. So we'll see. We shall see. This weekend I'm also going to get, I have a heat map for the seeds, so that will definitely help them. Okay. I'm going to cross this out. Next up I have the jalapeno early variety. So we'll see how early that is. One of the things I also want to try this year is the snail roll way of growing some plants. I've seen it online here and there. I have no idea if it's actually successful. It seems like it wouldn't be, but what do I know? Things always surprise me with gardening. It's like as soon as you think you found the way to do it, somebody shows you another way. The last pepper we have is the Italian peppercini. Now, I've never had this one, but I know I love pepperoncinis. Okay. One of the things that I like about gardening is you can always just keep trying it another way. And you keep learning. There's always people who have tips and tricks that you can try out if something doesn't work. You just have to wait until next year. That's also the thing I don't like about it, is if it doesn't work, you have to wait until next year. So that can be kind of frustrating because then you don't have a chance to correct yourself for months. And then by the time that happens, you probably lose the lesson. All right. Okay, so with these, I like to water from the bottom. So you just pour the water on the bottom of the tray, and then you let the soil wick up that water to the seeds. Ooh, making a mess. The reason I do it like this is so the seeds don't get disturbed. And since it's a first watering, I'm just going to put a lot of water in there. Okay. And I must have got the wrong size because these don't quite fit in here. I think for like sprout starting trays, they have like a different lip, so that's probably why. But it's okay. I'll put this away. Okay. And these ones are flowers that I've struggled with. Let's see, I've tried the asters. I think I got it, maybe once or twice, but also I don't think I put it in the right spot and the plant was never particularly thriving. So I want to try that again. So I'm going to do 2 for aster because I have 2 types. This one, delphinium, I don't think I've ever had success with. It says you start indoors 10 to 12 weeks ahead of time, so that's good. Let's try again. Another year, another try. Aren't they pretty though? Let me show you. They remind me of like a cross between a hollyhock and a foxglove. And I love both of those. And they're perennial, so if I could just get them started. These will be new for me. They are Canterbury bells, which I think are lovely. These are 120 days to bloom also, so that's good. Good thing I'm starting it now. And this one was given to me by the friend who had the seed collection. And these are 6 years old or 7 years old. Balloon flower. So I'm not too familiar with them, but they take a while as well, and they look very pretty. So let's try them out. Balloon flowers first. So it says just very shallow, like 1/16 of an inch. So I'm just gonna do that. The aster. So there's just like 4 or 5 seeds left. Probably because I've tried it so many times. Okay. I've learned that if you just gently tap down your starting mix, it's actually better for germination. It took me a long time to figure out. I wish I had more soil. Maybe I'll add more in a few days when I get some. Okay, that was probably like a dozen or so of those. Okay, for this one, it says you barely press them in. Oh, and it says it blooms in spring too. Good to know. Oh, these are so tiny. Wow. See how small they are? I remember somebody once saying that the size of the seed gives you an idea of the depth that you should plant it, which I always thought was interesting. So if you have a very, very, very tiny seed, it probably doesn't get planted an inch down, which just makes a lot of sense. One more. Good old delphinium. Okay, so it only needs an 1/8. So this is the extent of the things that I'm going to be planting really, really early. I do have poppies to plant, and that's another one that I've struggled with. I have one poppy plant that made it. It's precious poppy. I love it so much. I hope it's still there this year. So I'm going to plant those out, and then I don't have anything else to do for the next month except keep these guys alive.